John is an accomplished civil engineer, and is examining a new building's blueprints. Later, he returns home to his son, Nathan, who has diabetes and requires an insulin pump, and speaks with his soon-to-be ex-wife, Allison. Although John and Allison are stressed in their relationship, they keep it hidden from family and friends. The TV is busy with news of the comet projected to pass through Earth's atmosphere. The family plans to gather neighbors for a barbecue and watch the comet. While John is shopping at a supermarket, he receives a text alert on his phone. John's family are pre-selected for relocation to a secure government bunker. As he drives home, he witnesses a convoy of military Humvees. As John arrives home, he tells Allison about the text message. The guests are together watching the news reports about the comet. Unexpectedly, a tremor hits the area. John feels a massive shockwave, knocking him down. The news shows a fragment of the comet struck a city in Florida, and its awesome destructive power. An alert instructs the family to report to the Air Force Base, and fly to the safety bunkers. As the family packs the essentials, John helps gather their belongings. Their neighbor, Ed, warns them the comet is not just a single comet, but several clusters of fragments. Their neighbor, Deborah, pleads with John's family to take her young daughter, but John knows anyone not in the list would not be allowed in the bunker. John drives away with a heavy heart. As they drive towards the air base, there is traffic jam, and they decide to walk. However, when picking up their belongings, the insulin medication falls from the bag. Once the family arrives at the air base, John realizes Nathan's insulin is in the abandoned car. John decides to walk back to the car, and Allison explains the delay to a soldier due to the missing medication. Allison speaks with the officer in charge. Unfortunately for Allison, she is told no one with a medical condition is allowed to fly to the bunker, and must stay behind. Allison attempts to convince the officer. Although the officer is sympathetic, there is nothing she can do. John arrives with the medication, and boards the plane, but unaware his family is not on board. A passenger sees the insulin medication, and explains the rules of no admission of any persons with a medical condition. John leaves the plane, the gate is breached by the people left behind, and a rifle fire hits the jet fuel, causing a massive explosion, destroying the airplane and killing several people. Allison and Nathan see their car has been looted. Allison writes a note for John. The note tells John they are heading to her father's house. Allison and Nathan head towards pharmacy to search of insulin medication. Thieves with guns break in the pharmacy. Allison begs one of the thieves not to shoot them. In an act of mercy, the thief leaves the alone. Allison recognizes her friend, Judy, and asks Judy's husband, Ralph, for a ride to her father's house. John, now on foot, encounters thieves, and witnesses more fragments of Clark hurtling through the sky. He stops at a rooftop party to call Allison, and they briefly speak before the call cuts out. During the drive, Allison mentions that her family was selected but turned away, causing Ralph to grow suspicious. Eventually, Ralph attempts to take advantage of the situation by abandoning Allison and taking Nathan. Allison fights back but loses her wristband. Ralph and Judy abduct Nathan while Allison is left wandering aimlessly until a family picks her up and drives her toward the airport, where she hopes to find Nathan. John's journey. John hitches a ride with a truck driver heading toward Canada, where planes are believed to be flying to bunkers in Greenland. Along the way, John meets a young man named Colin, who reveals that the flights to Greenland are meant for those selected by the government. Another passenger, Lucas, grows enraged upon learning John was chosen, believing only US citizens should be prioritized. John, who is Scottish, becomes the target of Lucas and his friend Micah. A fight ensues, leading to a deadly crash that kills Colin. John, horrified by the violence, walks away. At the airport, Ralph and Judy attempt to pass Nathan as their own son using the wristbands. Nathan tells a soldier he's been kidnapped, and the couple is detained. Allison arrives at a medical camp, and reunites with Nathan. John arrives at a deserted neighborhood, breaks into a house searching for food and water. John watches the news, learning the comet's biggest fragment is calculated to hit the European continent, and killing 80 million, and destroying 80% of plant and animal life. John doesn't give up, and finds his way to Allison's father's house. Allison finds a car, and heads to her father's house. John arrives and meets with Allison. John had an affair due to their marriage falling apart. John asks for forgiveness, and due to the end of the world, the family comes together. The family decides to attempt to head to the airport, and somehow find a plane heading to Greenland. However, Allison's father has had a good life, and decides to stay at his house. As they drive, the comet's debris are falling, creating massive destruction. John drives under a bridge for protection, and helps a stranger from his car. As the sky clears, they arrive at the airport, and see a plane in the runway. John drives in the runway to block the plane from taking off. The pilot is furious, and tells John there isn't enough space in the plane. Allison uses her charm, and convinces the pilot to go for broke and take everyone. While in flight to Greenland, a smaller comet fragment hits Greenland, and causes a massive shock wave and debris, hitting the plane. The pilots crash land, however they both die as heroes. John takes the remaining passengers to the bunkers as the massive comet is about to hit. Aftermath: several months pass, and the lucky survivors have the first glimpse of the planet. Communication between other bunkers throughout the world is broadcast to the survivors, giving hope for a better future.